A, and that's awareness. Awareness is to help them see the gap. So we want to help them become aware of what's been keeping them stuck, not in a shame-based way, not in a judgmental way, but with clarity. So we might say something like, hey, John Doe, you're wanting to get to this goal of buying a home. And, we got this credit report, score 600. We need to get it to XYZ, right? Got a few things that we need to look at and consider. We might need to do some rebuilding of credit, but the fact is that we're not quite there. There are some things we need to do to get you to your goal, right? And so this is just where you're not judging, you're just letting them know that there is a gap. And do they already know there's a gap? Yes, they already know there's a gap. So we're not like throwing up on them and telling them all the bad things that are on their credit report, right? That is not the time to do that. We're just expressing that there are some things missing in that perfect pie to get them to their goal. So you might ask them, what do you think has stopped you from reaching your goal so far? That's a great question. Instead of you telling them, maybe you start to ask them questions. Like, what do you think might be keeping you stuck? And these have been some of the greatest questions I've ever asked a person because they'll tell me, you know what? I have a hard time budgeting. And so I have the money. It's always there. I just forget to pay the bill. Or I go out shopping and then realize, oh, shoot, I was supposed to pay that bill because I didn't realize that the bill was due. So we have situations like that. I've had how many clients tell me I make a lot of money. I just don't know what to do with my money. Right. And so then you have that additional insight of what's the root cause of the problem. Right. And so asking questions is better than telling them all the errors in their credit report. And this is where your credibility shines. You don't tell them what's wrong. You help them discover it, right? Instead of saying, hey, you have 100 late on this credit card. You might say, hey, I'm reviewing your credit report and I see there's been some issues with payments on time. Can you tell me more about that, right? And it's more of a discovery. So they start to open up and tell you, especially if you ask that question, what do you think's been stopping you? They'll tell you, you know what? Well, my daughter went to the hospital and I have all these medical bills and I just didn't know what to do. So I just buried my head in the sand and just pretend like they weren't even there. And now I'm having to deal with it today. Right. So you can uncover a lot more that way. And this builds instant trust.